Commence primary ignition.
Hey, I'm actor Chris Bartlett from The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you're watching Virtual Cantina Network.
Hi,
Hello there.
General Barnes.
That's me. Yeah,
That's you.
I'm on the mobile computer tonight because we're having thunderstorms, and in the event of a brownout, I want to not completely block out of our show tonight. So,
Like, why is you're all PC? So I can't believe it's been a few weeks since we've recorded anything.
It has. It has. I don't understand how it's July, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
I know already. It's flown, but like just when you think you can't top last week's episode or our last episode, we do this.
We do this. Here it is. Are you ready? I mean, I need some positive energy. I need some uplifting and excitement in my life right now. I don't know about all the rest of you, but that is where I'm at, and nothing makes me happier than talking about incredible artists doing incredible work in Star Wars.
Expensive looking design. Worth every damn penny. I'm
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. So of course, talking fashion, talking costume design, the best way to start, we think maybe, is with Andor.
Oh yeah, like why not start right from the top and like working it way down? Because season 1 costumes, I have to admit, they caught my attention. I love the design. I love how every planet had a look. It wasn't just jackets and pants and flowy gowns and whatever.
Not all Imperial uniforms, right?
Exactly.
Like that's what we're so used to seeing in Star Wars is stormtroopers, Imperial uniforms, and the odd outfit from a rebel that they wear for like most of the movie, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're lucky if you get a costume change or two.
There's so much thought in the costumes of Andor, like right out of the gate. And we're going to talk about some of it tonight.
Yeah.
So,
and I just love the way it's built up over time. I feel like they really made an effort to lay a sort of a visual and a unifying theme foundation in the first season, and then we're able to double down, I guess you could say, when it came to season 2, because they really, really brought the A game, like in ways I haven't seen before.
For sure, and if you think about it, they were in a few set places in season 1. They were on Ferrix.
Yep.
They were Imperials. They were
Aldhani.
Yeah, they were. Whatever Luthen was.
Yeah, I mean that little bit of Coruscant with the shop, right? Because we did have the shop in season 1.
Yeah.
A little bit of Coruscant, like upper tier,
a little bit of fancy,
sort of businessy Coruscant. I say, this is Office of the Senate, this is lobbying, this is the antique stop. So it felt very businessy,
right?
I think.
And you also have a little bit of Mon Mothma, and you get to see her elegance and the looks that her and her family have. Also, like the rebels on, Vel and her crew and everybody, like they had a very specific look to blend in.
It was very ragtag.
Yeah,
is kind of the way I like to think of it.
Ponchos.
It was
always ponchos.
Yes, it was all very homespun, right? Like you could actually convince yourself that the Aldhani natives were the ones that were making these pieces. It was all scarves and hats and, like you said, ponchos and gloves.
It very much reminded me of how Peruvian people are with like the alpaca ponchos, and everything's like made from wool and warm and sturdy, especially if they live up in the mountains. So that was pretty damn cool to see.
It was very neat. Yeah, it reminded me of Scotland.
Yeah,
it's what it made me think of from visiting Scotland. We fortunately got to go in the summer, so we didn't have to deal with the cold.
Oh,
But
that's good.
yeah, the weather, the landscape, yeah. So
Also, like we see so many costume changes in season 1 compared to season 2.
mhm.
Um, Ferrex is very working class. Everybody, yellows, oranges, reds,
Reds, yeah.
very minimal, just kind of,
Padding, the padding and the
yeah,
quilting is what I remember a lot of in Ferrex.
not as
You've got
many
the
jackets.
extra layers.
Hmm.
Yeah. The gloves, of course, the
Lots of
gloves. Love the
gloves.
gloves.
But um, even like when we leave Casa's planet and he goes
Mhm.
home with um, Marva and Clem
Yeah.
and goes home to Ferrex, um, we see him still like adapting. And it's kind of weird how the Ferrex look is like the mining gear and stuff. And the outfits that he's wearing from his home planet are similar to that, as in they're like mining gear, but they're just altered to fit a skinny little 12-year-old boy.
hmm
And it
Yeah.
worked out so well because it's like, oh, you just basically brought him to the same planet, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really thought it was interesting. Something I learned when we were doing deep dives for costuming and stuff was that the costume designers actually came up with a color palette for each individual planet in season 1 and season 2, and they were all distinct and unique from each other. And I don't know much about artistry or clothing design or anything, so I didn't really pick up on that until someone pointed it out to me. And then it was intriguing and fascinating to go back and watch scenes and look at screenshots and be like, oh my gosh, the way they were able to work with such uniqueness and variation with just a handful of colors, like you said with Ferrex and or with Aldani, it was incredible. I'm like, how can you just have like the 4 or 5 colors and come up with that many variations? It was really well done.
So gorgeous.
And then to have that click in my brain and not even be aware of it, that I could immediately be like, oh, okay, these people are, we're back on Ferrex. So yeah, I thought that was really a fascinating approach to the idea of the costume
Yeah,
designs. Yeah.
for sure. And it kind of helped bookmark where you were because, in Star Wars, you kind of bounce around, and especially in The Mandalorian, you bounce around from planet to planet to planet. Everybody kind of looks the same for the most part. And
Mm-hmm.
with this, it's like, oh, okay, they look like that. We're on Ferrex. They look like this. We're hanging out at ISB with the Imperials. Like
Yep.
it just kind of helped bookmark each location in your
Mm-hmm.
brain. And they definitely continued that in season 2.
Mm-hmm. 9 different planets they went to in season 2 of Andor, and each one had its own distinctive look and feel and color and design. And I just thought that was really remarkable. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. We don't see that like in very many Star Wars movies, never mind Star Wars shows. So
Right.
it
Right.
was really cool to begin with. And then right from the get go, where, you know, thrown into planning a wedding, uh,
Oh wow.
a Chandrillan traditional wedding.
Mm.
And I'm
Mm.
telling you, Michael Wilkinson, costume designer, who, if he doesn't win all the Emmys, sweet baby Jeebus, it's a crime.
Something's not right.
Yeah,
Yes. No, I would
we
have
better
to agree
check
about
this.
that. Yes.
The designs, and he's posted them. If you guys go to Michael Wilkinson on Instagram, you can see some of the photos and everything. But
Talks about his process for designing Mon Mothma's wedding dress. Talks about breaking it down and draping different kinds of fabrics and different layers and beaded satin and the silks and everything on a mannequin, and then having to work with his the cutter that helped to work for all of the women's costumes. Malin, I think. I'm not sure how to say her first name. I apologize. Her last name's Anderson. Um, did
nope,
all of
you're
the
right.
work for the principals. Yeah. And just incredible. I mean, even to see from sketches to rough designs to the final finished product was stunning. And I was actually a little surprised that the first 3 episodes were the wedding. I mean, I can't imagine how early they had to start working.
Oh
Like
my
8,
god.
like just the actual shooting was like 8 months. How far in advance did they have to start working on these costumes, you know.
And you think about it, it's been 2 years since season 1, so they get just enough of a cushion, that
Maybe I don't know.
if
I
that
can't sew,
or
but holy smokes, I would.
they definitely have a team to do that, and,
Yeah.
to kind of so we know that, um, Mon's daughter is having this traditional wedding on Chandrilla. It's going to
Hmm.
be utmost fancy, lots of tradition that's kind of
Mm.
outdated at this point, and Mon kind of scoffs at.
But
Um,
the daughter wants, apparently. Apparently, it's very important to Lita. So
yeah,
it's your only child. I guess you got to give them what they're looking for.
yeah. um, so actually, I'm trying to think of where we should start with this. Well, if we just call up you know, call up the photos that we have
Yes,
saved so
yes,
that people can
yes.
get a feel of what we're talking about here.
That's a great idea.
Because we can talk about it all day long. Oh, hey, Mark.
Hi there.
and and just kind of like, we want to have you guys see it for yourselves. So
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, get some inspiration. You know, so there's so many pictures. We can't talk about like, oh, that one blue dress or
yeah,
that one gold dress because there's so many.
exactly.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess we can kind of just go through, but I mean, I think they're sort of in the order of the episodes. But if not, we can always jump around.
Right.
Um,
And maybe they're not because I'm looking at this one and this looks like Yavin Mon Mothma. So we're
it
just
kind
gonna
of does. We're
jump
just
into
gonna
that.
go through. Yeah.
So we start off this season obviously with the big fancy wedding, Mon
Hmm.
Mothma being in her finest, looking completely put together. Her hair looks amazing, and we see her on Yavin. Her hair is very short, very plain.
All the way down to this. Yep.
Yeah, and though it's still beautiful and it drapes so well, and the fabric still looks
Hmm.
expensive, it's not as flashy. It's not as
No.
elegant. It's kind of
No.
it's plain Jane for her. And I
It
never
is.
like she looks absolutely stunning. Like the art of oh my god, I'm blanking on her name. Help me. Help me. Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma.
Oh,
Genevieve.
Genevieve O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's like artist. I don't know. Ashley, you're on your own.
Yeah, it's the art of Genevieve O'Reilly. Like she still looks stunning, but we know what she has done and what she is capable of, and this is
Yeah.
where we have her to kind of blend in with the rebels and still have her status as a high-ranking official in the rebellion.
Yeah, I really liked that one of the reflections that Michael had on this particular uh, glow down, I guess you could call it,
She's
is
still
he
glowing. It's just slightly less.
just a little less when Andor was rescuing her from the Senate, you know, and she takes off all of those formal official robes. Michael said she had on a very simple like tunic, a long tunic and leggings, and you know maybe and that's it. And so he wanted to continue that theme through into her time on Yavin. You know that's really all she needs now. It's still very nice fabric, and it's still cut and draped nicely, and it's obviously well made, but it's very simple. You know, she doesn't need all of that trappings and all of that the phony fake smile, you know, the imprisonment that she had in the Senate. She doesn't need that anymore. Now she needs to sit down amongst other people and roll up her sleeves and get this rebellion done. You know,
Sure.
so I love that he takes this basic stripped down version of her and then turns it into the way she's going to live now. So is not my favorite Mon Mothma costume, but I have great respect for it nonetheless.
Exactly. It's simple elegance.
Yes, most definitely.
um, so this is one of her Chandrillin costumes, and it's come. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
We'll just go to the wedding. Okay.
No,
um,
this is the previous one. That's the one where she was the Senate investiture, the
that's
one
right.
with the one right before
Oh,
this.
okay. It's
That
hard to
was
tell.
yeah.
Like
They're
they
very
are
similar. They're very
they're
similar, but
so
the
similar.
yeah, yeah.
But this one, yeah,
This one's my
absolutely
favorite.
stunning.
This one was my favorite. The blue. I really enjoyed the different kinds of fabric and the way that it was layered and crisscrossed and just sort of draped. It was definitely my favorite of her wedding outfits.
really. And it's just a simple belt, allowing
Mhm.
the jewelry to kind of speak for it, but just the design and the drapery just kind of sets volumes. And you have that traditional chandrillin pleats that you see so
Mhm.
much in
Mhm.
her costumes this season.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. And seen in a lot of different costumes, both the men and the
yeah.
women. And it was really interesting. I
Yeah,
have to
Lana's
agree.
closing in on Padme for those costume changes. Girl, that I want to raid her closet. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
so beautiful.
So there's a fabulous on the Instagram page. Ashley and I both found it. There's a numbers, an actual number count
Andor by the
for
numbers.
Andor by the numbers. Yes, and for the Shrandrillan wedding, there were 220 wedding guests and 170 native Shrandrillans, and those were all people. None of it was AI rendered. None of it was computer animated or copying people. They had to bring on extra costume designers for when there were more than 500 extras for an episode.
Yep,
Like,
220 wedding guests and 170 chandrillans
mhm.
all had to be dressed.
Yep.
Like, this team is just bonkers.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. What
I
was
just,
it?
I
It
just,
was 92 full-time costumers and 30 additional costumers brought in for when the numbers topped 500. That's insane.
honestly, like, this is the reason why it's probably one of the most expensive shows on Disney Plus. And you know what? Thank you for that, because we can
Yeah,
see it. And you can't shortchange quality.
yeah.
And I think with costume design, it's key. It's like having, a period piece in like Elizabethan times and having everybody wear a rucksack. Like, you can't, you got to put the money somewhere.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Sci-fi in general and Star Wars specifically has actually managed to evolve to this level. That where costume design is such a key element of it, and we've seen it evolving and growing over the recent
Yeah.
years. And I really feel like it's reached a pinnacle height here in season 2 of Andor, and I hope it continues forward. I hope audiences and studios and networks all start to embrace the fact that that level of attention to detail
Yeah.
is generally not overlooked by an audience. We see it, we appreciate it, and it really does make a difference for how immersive the story is. I mean, Michael said that he actually is a bit encouraged by cosplayers. Like he feels the pressure of if this is going to be like examined and screen stopped and zoomed in from every inch and angle, he's like, I got to bring my A game. Like I got to step
My
up. These people are going to be
gosh.
copying my work. I can't make it easy for them.
And
I got to
he
make it difficult.
definitely does. Like, right down
Hmm.
to all the suit details for the jackets and like Perrin and Lita's father-in-law.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
absolutely. Like, you think it's the most simple thing. Oh, it's just his tunic, no big deal.
Mm-mm.
No.
Those were some of my favorite shots is when they would zoom in, and you could see the detail of the belt or the cuff or the shoulder of the jacket, really
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. I
Um,
hope it keeps going.
sorry.
There we
I'm
go.
gonna
Day
go
one
back.
of the wedding. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, this one.
We'll go back to slide 3. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's I really, really was impressed by that. That was when they were at the Senate investiture and when she faces Krennic
I
over
want to
the
see someone get married in this dress.
I like this one better than the wedding one, to be honest.
I agree. It's
I love it.
beautiful. And I love that she's wearing this as she's like not letting Krennic give her an ounce. And it's
Mhm.
like stunning with Silicilla. I love it.
Yes, I feel like it's like proper battle armor for Coruscant,
For
like you're not gonna
sure. Dress your fanciest and make somebody eat their words. It's
yeah, you're
beautiful.
not gonna be running around in chainmail, but this is as close as we can get. I love it.
And
I
I
love
love that
it.
so you see this with a lot of the necklaces and stuff, like the designs that women on Coruscant wear. And I'm not sure if
Hmm.
it's either Coruscant or if it's a Chandrillan thing, but those ropes and it's like you can
Yeah.
attach them, you can detach them, and they're still stunning and they're still beautiful,
Hmm.
whether they're on or not. But just the intricacy is
and how it attaches to the fabric. I mean, I just
without
yeah.
weighing it down. Like,
Yeah.
I'm worrying about it having a pull. Like, it's part of it, and
Mhm.
that's what I like.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's like a veil. So it's that weird, like, choker thing. And I know it's uncomfortable because you have the scene in the car with Perrin in the backseat, and she's just kind of fighting with it.
Can't wait to take it off.
It's
Yeah.
like, take it off. But for the moment, she looks like it's not wearing her. She's wearing
Mhm.
it. So
Mhm. Mhm.
we have to
It
see.
looks stunning on you, girl. You know, I'm sorry if it's uncomfortable. It looks great.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry.
Wrong way, wrong way.
Wrong
Fast forward, fast
way.
forward. Yep, that
This
was
one
the
is
first day.
probably one of my favorite looks
Really?
because
Okay.
I like the different, we have the satin look, but we still have the pleating all the way down. And the pleating kind of bleeds into kimono.
Mm-hmm.
And typical Star Wars, like the Jedi have those
Okay.
wide belts and stuff. And
The bandoliers, yeah.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
just kind of feels like it's her, I don't want to say battle armor, but I do. Because, she goes to war every day in the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
But I love this, and I love the color design, and it how it flatters her, like the brown of the belt kind of flatters her hair,
Yeah, you're right. That
and
is a really good.
it just looks really good against her skin, like the color combination on this.
It does. I love the waves of the coat
Yes.
down at the end. Are those the sleeves? It's kind of hard to tell in this picture. If
Yeah,
that's the sleeves or
I
the
think it's just
actual.
extra drapery from the sleeves. Like you can see it kind of go
Amazing.
down a little bit more here. But blue and orange are complementary colors.
Mm-hmm.
So having it kind of like, oh, this is a really pale yellow orange color.
Yeah, it's like that goldy champagne color. It
Yeah.
reoccurs a lot in the Chandrillin scenes, and so I'm trying to figure out if that is a traditional Chandrillin color or if it represents like Mon Mothma's house. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of this color combination of this smoky, slate blue and the gold champagne color. Um, so I'm real curious about which way that went. It's definitely was part of the palette color for this particular planet, but
Right.
I'd love it if it was like traditional colors for the culture or something. And this outfit very much reminds me of Perrin. I feel like we
So
see him.
yeah, it's like they're matchy, but you can kind of see how
Oh, those
the
are the
weaves.
sleeves. Okay. Yeah, yeah,
That's the
yeah.
front look of the same photo, and just kind
Mm-hmm.
of giving her that. But this is another one. It didn't quite make it. Like, this was inspired
Mm-hmm.
by this, but it's like a lighter shade of teal
Yes. Yes.
and not as pleaty, maybe, if that makes sense. Everything's
Yeah.
more gold and just very
Yes.
pale blue.
Mm-hmm. I like the deeper colors in the final product.
For sure. And
Yeah.
just the concept art alone is just, I could look at it all day. Like, look at that.
Yes, I
It's
found that really
stunning.
fascinating. That was the art of the dress. You can tell that they kind of simplified it a little bit. That was like the beautiful blue dress. They
Yeah.
kind of smoothed it down a bit, made it a bit less flashy.
Oh, for sure. Check out the concept artists Ria Bovachev and Glyn Dillon. Glyn worked on season 1.
Yes,
They were the
yes.
concept artists for that. Absolutely stunning. And Michael says, for Mon Mothma's regal looks designed for Andor, we focused on pleats, sumptuous fabrics, as we can see here,
Mm-hmm.
and strong silhouettes. Like, this just makes her feel taller. Like, do
Yeah.
you feel like she's just like,
Oh
the
yeah.
way she wears it, and it's not, again, it's all
Yeah.
this fabric, but it's not wearing her, and she
Mm-mm.
just looks like she's floating.
It just elongates her, and you think it
Yeah.
would be really heavy until you see her moving. When she would like turn and went up the stairs, I was like, "Whoa, she hauling. Okay, that's not heavy at all. Look at her go."
She's literally running through the Senate right now,
Mm-hmm.
Coruscant,
Mm-hmm.
in this dress with those shoes. So,
Yep.
I love it. And I love that Michael's kind of given us a sneak peek into his designs for these.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
this is a dress that my mother absolutely loved because
Oh, really? Okay.
she's sad beige clothes for sad beige children. That's my mother. But she likes that champagne color.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to admit, like, this is like the perfect black tie formal thing. And for her, it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh, it's a mixer on a Tuesday night.
It's as they say, a perfect canvas. You can blend in, or you can
Yeah.
stand with someone or next to someone or next to the scenery, and so it's like that perfect blank drop. Like it's yeah.
Yeah, and he says he designed 9 costumes for the 3-day wedding celebration for her.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot. Oof.
And you think of how much work goes into one. I'm like, girl,
Right,
you guys are
right.
warriors. Like, your team is amazing.
Yeah, I think it was. I saw a group picture of them, but it was 2 men and 7 women. And so it's really amazing how many women are a part of this process, of the designing and the creating and the actual making of the clothes.
For sure.
And I think that's wonderful. Hopefully it's something that can continue and that we can have more of, because it really is an incredible talent.
And what I love the most about these looks is they're her signature style. And though they're in different colors, there's still enough of a difference between each look to make it so it's like, oh, that's obviously a Mon Mothma dress. However, it's not an exact carbon copy of like, oh, I just bought this dress in every single color they had kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's also really interesting because you can see the same silhouettes and the same colors on other major characters, like um, the in-laws. I'm blanking on their names right now.
Yeah.
Skulden and his wife. She would always wear very similar colors to Mon Mothma, and they were of a similar height. They were both very tall, slender people, but they were dramatically different. And if you had them on mannequins in front of you, you would not be confused about who wore which one.
I have to say, Skolden's wife, she kind of remind me of like, okay, Mon Mothma is very Fifth Avenue. She's very Staten Island, just in
She
terms of her look. And
she trying, she
she
trying.
she tried,
She
but it
wants
was
to
funny
reach that upper echelon of Chandrilan culture, and she's bringing all the bling and all
for
the right
sure.
colors. It just maybe a
It
little
is
too
not
much.
working.
Maybe a little too much. Yeah.
Oh, this is concept art for Vel in season
Hmm.
2. So when she's kind of
When she becomes the experienced rebel, right?
yes,
The
so
one
she,
towards the end. Yeah, when she's
working in the
on Gorman.
shadows
Hmm. Yep.
again. So cool. But we see here simple rebel design,
Hmm.
but still there's like I love the thought that goes into like the neckline and the pleating in the chest and the
Hmm.
draping like across like it you can
Yeah.
clearly see that it probably folds like this over. But again, in Star Wars, can't have zippers, can't have buttons.
Nope.
Clothes
Nope.
just magically appear on your body and you don't have to pee in them at all ever.
No, only have to worry about rank. That's it. You get the big
That's it.
rank buttons, and that's
Yeah.
all. That's all the bling you get when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And for once, like as uh, we see now when we meet Vel in season 1, obviously she's on Aldani. She's trying to fit in with the Aldani.
Yeah.
She's wearing a
Yep.
lot of like wool and like heavy drape stuff, and her hair is braided and ratty. Like she's not as polished,
Well, she's blonde too.
and she's
For
blonde.
all she's
Yeah.
white.
So here she goes back to her natural Chandrilan redhead and
Hmm.
just kind of um there's something very sleek and covert about this. Like she's kind of like a secret
Hmm.
agent. Like she's dashing through the shadows
Oh
somewhere
yeah.
and not quite fitting in with the Gorman look of things, but still very much a Vel thing, something comfortable to in case you got to do what you have to do.
Yeah.
And I really love that look. I think it's so simple. You can wear it with a pair of skinny jeans because, to be honest with you, it kind of looks like a pair of skinny jeans.
Sort of does.
Yeah.
In the drawing, yeah. I think the
Yeah.
actual costume was it was a bit
So
smoother.
that's
Yeah.
it there. They cover it with a jacket. They give her a tote bag and a scarf, so she's a little more fit in on Gorman,
Hmm.
which I think is probably a good thing. But we see the gray pants, we see the black boots,
Yeah.
fingerless gloves. Like she's still fitting in, but still being as tactical as she loves to be, and
Yes.
that is key.
Hmm.
And there's her season
Oh.
1 look where it's just like, whoa, night and day.
Yeah, it really shows the evolution of the character, right? I mean, this is year 1 for Val, and by the time we get to Gorman, we're in year 2, year 3, and so she's grown and learned and adapted. She's no longer embedded in a, as an infiltration unit in the rebellion. She's more of a leader. She's coming
Yeah.
in, she's teaching, she's leading these people, she's evaluating them, and determining whether or not. And so I love how the costume reflects her growth and development as a character and as someone in the rebellion.
And she's a hothead in this season. Like,
Oh yeah,
she's just like pointing a gun in your face. Don't keep him alive. Like,
yeah,
kind of thing. Like, who are you? Why do we listen to you? Like, she's so combative. And as the years go on, we see her, and she goes from blonde to red, but she's less fiery. Like,
yes.
she's more calculated. She's calmer. She's got a plan.
I almost felt like she had some. She was. This is just my interpretation, but I felt like
Okay.
she was trying to prove herself to Cinta, right?
Yeah.
In season 1, because I feel like Cinta was, and always had been a badass.
Yeah.
Cold,
Effortless.
cold-hearted killer.
Yeah.
In it to win it, no holds barred in all the way. And because Vel is very much the aristocratic rebel, right? She comes from a different background. She had to be tough and pushy and kind of a hothead to prove. She was like almost overdoing it, right?
Like,
And I
I
think
may be the spoiled rich girl, but I belong here just as
I'm,
much as
I'm
you
tough. I'm
belong to
tough.
your
Yeah,
parents.
and I'm
Yeah.
in it. I'm in it. I'm all in this. And so by the time we see her in season 2, as she's growing and changing, I think she's kind of started to experience and learn what the cost of it was going to be. So she's streamlined, she's muted, she's more reserved, she's more protected. And to me, at least, I can really see the differences between the costumes. So it's really
Yeah,
well
and we can
done.
see the design. Like, Vel's hair is red in these sketches, but
Mhm.
I guess she just showed up with blonde hair one day, and they're like, "All right, we'll make it work."
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, I do love that look. That's like perfect winter cosplay. Do that. Just get a wool poncho and make it cool.
Yes, yes.
We have Basil Oregano.
There he is. There he is.
Bail
Yeah.
Organa, and
Mhm.
this was probably one of my favorite adaptations, because not only do we have Jimmy Smits is out and Benjamin Bratt is in, and Ben is shorter, not as broad shouldered as Jimmy is, but
Mhm.
they made it look like he's
It was
still
the same
pulling off
person.
still pulling off the costumes. The Alderaan look is there, like the
Mhm.
drapes across the polished tunics for the men.
That deep blue and gray and silver, those are all
Yeah.
Alderaan colors that we had seen in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basil. Bill! Sorry, thanks, Red Letter Media. You've ruined my life with that. Please go watch Red Letter Media talks about Rogue One. That's why I had to talk about Bail Organa the way I do.
Got it.
Bill and Brea just kind of having the same look, but like, this is what women of Alderaan look like. This is what men of Alderaan look like, and you see Leia kind of honor it to a degree, and her like celebration things, and her normal like everyday outfits with like the
Yeah.
silver belt and the white drapes. But as far as like when she gets older, she just kind of adapts like the rebellion look. But it was so good to see, Benjamin still pulling this off, and still keeping with the tradition that they used with Jimmy Smits and his costumes in Rogue One and the prequels and everything.
Yeah, I think it might have been quite a challenge for them, because there was so many intricacies that they had to deal with in the transitions of the characters. And I think they pulled it off really well.
Oh, for sure.
I did feel bad for poor Jimmy having to wear that same outfit that Bail Organa was given in Rogue One. Where it looks like the man has no arms, it's just like this, and it just
Why
has
am I
little
wearing a
hands.
tunic? Like,
It's
Jimmy, why did you give me this tunic?
like it's like a straight jacket, you know. I mean, it just
Yeah.
comes down like all the way down here, and I'm like, oh, poor guy. But he pulled it off. He
He
pulled it
did.
off very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how they handled that, again, he's working for the rebellion. He's on
Mhm.
Yavin, but he's still very much a high-ranking official in the rebellion. He still has to blend in with, senatorial duties as long as he has them,
Yep.
and back and forth being a representative from Alderaan and still being undercover. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is probably one of the coolest non-action looks in the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's you look at this and you go Bail Organa.
Well, even Star Wars, right? You look at that, you're like, I feel like that's Star Wars. You know, it's very iconic. It's very iconic.
Let's see what else we got. Oh,
Well, there we go.
yeah. So this is his Senate. So again, as Sarah said, you get the blues, you get the silvers, you get the robes, like the very stately. And again, it
Mhm.
makes them. It's so well tailored that it makes them look tall.
Mhm.
And I don't think Benjamin Bratt is very tall, to be honest with you. It has
Yeah, pretty average, I think, as far as Hollywood goes. You know,
yeah,
Hollywood tends to have guys that are taller anyway, and women,
yeah.
truly, both. But I think what I loved
He's 6'2",
best.
but he's still, according to Wikipedia. But yeah,
Okay, then. Whoopsies.
yeah,
Never mind. Sorry, Ben.
yeah.
If you ever
Shut
see
up
this,
now.
we apologize. You look
Yeah,
great. Looks like an awesome outfit.
but it
Um,
gives them like a level of stature that just from like the shoulder drapings,
mhm,
and it's
mhm.
not like going, okay, there's shoulder pads.
I think one of my favorite parts about the different stylings and costumes and outfits that we saw in the Senate was that everybody has their official, senatorial robes,
Yeah,
but they're all unique to their own culture and to their own planet, both in their style and their cut, as well as their color combinations.
absolutely right.
But I would definitely say that Alderaan and Chandril were definitely a couple of my favorites.
Yeah,
But yeah, Andor by the numbers, there were 200 senators and 150 workers that had to have costumes designed for them just in the Senate building.
dang.
And then we had 75 ISB agents, 100 Lower Coruscant, 15 tactical troopers, and 100 hospital workers and patients on the planet of Coruscant.
At least
So,
they're comfortable. Jelly shoes and scrubs.
yeah, I would definitely want to do been one of the extras in the hospital. You get to wear hospital gowns and little booties, or soft, comfy shoes.
At least they
Definitely.
look comfy. Now, if you've worn jelly shoes in the 80s, you know that's a lie.
Yeah, but now they've evolved. These are like space jelly Crocs or something. I bet they were. I bet they were pretty comfy. If I do say
Yeah,
so myself.
I
It
think
looks
you're
good.
right. Then we got
Oh,
our
here we
girl
go.
Bix. So this is Bix in season 1. Like,
Yeah.
obviously you see her, very fitted costume, but still like
Industrial
feminine.
mechanical. Yeah, but still, yeah, I love the silhouette of this costume.
Nothing to get caught in machinery, really.
Mhm.
Just yeah. Like, if I could cosplay anything, like, it would be this outfit. It's
This
beautiful.
one, it is.
Yeah, I mean,
It is.
it's Bix being a dirt dog, but like, that's what we Bostonites call people who get their hands dirty and like get in there
Okay.
and get the job done. We call him a
Okay.
dirt dog, and
All
it's
right.
Red Sox thing. But
Learn something new every day. Okay.
yeah, so she's. We see her just underneath a ship or underneath something, welding it and getting it off of detaching it from the rest of the machine. And
Mhm.
like, how many other women do we see getting their hands dirty like that other than Pelimoto in
And
Star Wars?
then she just had the flight suit, she just had the mechanical
Yeah,
zipper suit. That's it. That was all. She never got to have any
yeah,
fun, gadgets and tools and,
yeah. So this is
satchels.
still
And, yeah.
very much so. We have the Ferrex colors, we have the browns,
And the
we
orange.
have
And,
like the
yeah.
safety vest look to it,
Mm-hmm.
we have the gloves, we have, you know, all her tools are accessible at her hip,
Mm-hmm.
welding mask. Again, like, I don't hate any of it. It's just
No.
all the
It's
thought
incredible.
is there, and it's just it fits her so well.
Hmm. It was an excellent adaptation of the design. They really did. The cutters and everybody did a wonderful job.
Then we have Secret Agent Bix
Hmm.
blowing some shit up.
I called this her stalker look.
Hell
She's just like,
yeah.
because both as in like
Hood
she's
up.
hunting someone,
Let's
and
go.
she's like stalking through the hallway, right? Like she's just both versions of the word. This is definitely
Bix
her
don't give a
stalker look
fuck.
for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
she
what this
was.
is.
This was the I have no fucks left to give outfit is what this is right here. She's like, it's it. I've hit my rope, and Andor made it work. Got
I
her what
do,
she needed.
for sure. I do love that jacket. I think it's, obviously it's a little more robe than jacket, but again, like in Rogue One with Jin and the hood,
Hmm.
hoods are not quite proper hoods in this
Mm-mm.
universe for some reason.
Oh, I
It's
love them.
all like it's extra drape that you just pull up and you wear, and you can kind of go undercover with it. And I really do love that.
I have one.
Yeah,
It's
me
a kind
too.
of like an off-white cream color, but it's a scarf with a hood attached that I like to wear before it gets like super cold and windy in the wintertime. And I just wrap the scarf around my neck and then I just pull the hood up and I tuck it all underneath my coat. It's
It's
awesome.
kind of like an infinity scarf, but it's part of the jacket. So
Mm-hmm.
when her universe did the jackets for Rogue One, they did a Jin inspired jacket, and I bought it. And the hood is detachable like that, so you can. That was the worst part of that jacket was the long draping, and you just have to keep throwing it over your shoulder every time you bend down to pick something up, or yeah, like public restrooms,
Definitely made
pain,
just for
such a pain.
walking, right? Just for walking. You had to bend over, you can't sit, you can't. It's just walking.
Exactly, it's
I
just
look
for
great when I
fashion,
walk.
just for
That's right.
fashion.
That's all it is.
But it had that shawl hood, like, it was a
Mm.
shawl for all intents and purposes, but
And I
you
love that
could
they've brought it back around here and kind of
yeah,
mirroring it, that same look that was in Rogue
you
One.
can
Yeah.
tell it's in universe to this, and that's what I
Hmm.
absolutely love. And again, we have the dark colors without being black,
Hmm.
um, very earthy. It's
Very Coruscant. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That's what
kind
they
of
played a lot with those colors.
and comfortable because, Bix has been going through a lot. The girl's got a lot of trauma, and it's and
Well, and Lower Coruscant doesn't have money. They're not going to have the same fabrics or cuts or styles as they have up on the Senate level,
mhm.
right? So you kind of have that distinction of, well, we may be on Coruscant, but we're clearly not on the Upper East Side or something.
We ain't wealthy.
Mm-mm. No, this is not Fifth Avenue.
Speaking of wealth,
Mm.
or wealth, as Mama Edie would like to say, we have Cyril's little Gorman look here. So we see our boy Cyril start off in season 1 with his pre-war officer outfit, like
That he's
probably
tailored, that he's had
tailored, and
tailored
yet
and fixed the piping on, and
I'm sitting there like listening to that conversation, and I'm like, are you really gonna give him crap for wanting to look good in uniform? Hello, chubby man.
Oh, I love the fact that dear little psycho Cyril Karn finally got to find his people. He was like,
I
that was
know.
my favorite quote when I was reading through this. He was like, you could just almost feel that Cyril was finally like, yes, people understand the difference between when a collar is 1 inch higher. Everybody here gets it. Like he's found his people. They all understand. They have that same level of attention to detail.
Yeah.
And he just
Oh,
like went right forward and he had the little beret and he had the little satchel and the little scarf. And I was just like, oh,
and he felt like he was a
look.
part of something. So that this was probably one of the most surprising looks for me, is to see him fully embrace his undercover look as a Gorman.
Hmm.
So he's helping Dedra. Dedra is kind of using him at this
Kind
point.
of.
Kind of, I'm
Sweetie.
I'm being
Sweetie.
diplomatic.
Well, there ain't no kinda about it.
Yeah, so it's him doing his best to get right with the Empire and get out of like the standards and practices office
Hmm.
and get back to the nitty gritty and get into the nitty gritty of the ISB and maybe become an
These days when
agent.
he was wearing these outfits, like right in the middle here, like he was just living his best life.
Yeah.
He was like, "This is the most amazing thing I've ever done. I'm so happy." And he's got the fits, and he's in the
And his hair is grown out a little
Mhm,
bit. He
mhm,
just looks like when someone goes to Paris for a year and they just adapt the lifestyle. This is what I likened it to, and maybe it was all
mhm,
the French, but
mhm, mhm. No, I agree absolutely. Yeah, you could really see it, and it was so fun to watch whatever little new tweak to his outfit he went
oh,
gore,
yeah.
right? He went gore native, and I just loved watching that. Every time I watched it, it was like
There were
he
some scenes where I
definitely.
forgot, like, "Wait a minute, that's Cyril." Like, it was just blended in so well.
Especially if it was like from the back, I was like, who's it? Oh my god, it's Cyril. Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's interesting how they do neckties, for lack of a better term, in the
Okay,
Star Wars universe.
I hated that so
You
much.
did? Okay, tell me why you hated it.
I don't know. I don't know. I
The
think it's
weird
because
little
it's not a
clip.
necktie. It didn't tie anything. It's like a neck slot or something. I mean,
You got a
I
coin
was like,
slot, and it's just like, "Bleh."
and I thought at first that it was
Oh,
just a Cyril thing, and then Dedra was wearing it too, and I'm like, oh god, what is this? I mean, it's fascinating, and it was very well done, and it was quirky in that Star Wars way, but it was like nails on the chalkboard for me. Every time I looked at it, it was like, that's that's dumb. I hate that. But it was nice because it was characters I didn't like that were wearing it. So it
right.
was okay. It just kind of added to my irritation with the characters as a whole. So it was a very effective costuming technique. I will say that for it.
So I wanted to jump in. This is Mark from behind the
Hi,
scenes.
Mark.
Hi,
Yeah.
Mark.
Obviously, Cyril is like my literally favorite character, along with
Mhm.
Deirdre, Denisco, amazing. And Kyle Solar will be at Rebel ScumCon in Texas. He's their
Yes,
last
he
guest they announced.
will.
I obviously plan on meeting him. My big regret is that I didn't pull together an awesome cosplay because, in the grand scheme of things, I think I could look a lot like him if I did it right.
Hell yeah.
I
So
think you
he
could
could be
too.
my next cosplay. I think the blue suit from season 1 that impeccably tailored, the thing that everyone gave him shit for because he was
Hmm.
trying to look nice. Also, to get philosophical, don't you think the great irony is that he found his tribe on Gorman, and that's also where
Hmm.
he found his doom? And he was so close. He was chasing something he wanted so badly, and then ended up in a place where he should have been, didn't
Yeah.
recognize it, and then died there. Like,
Yeah.
the irony, it's so
So
heartbreaking the
crazy.
more you think about what happened to this man. So,
It
not that he
really
didn't make the
is.
decisions. I don't want to use the passive tense to
Mm-hmm.
Right.
alleviate his sins, but
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I think
it makes me
by
very
the
sad.
time he realized how bad things were, and that kind of like, "Hey, wait a minute, I'm on the wrong side of things,"
Hmm.
it was way too late.
It was. And
And then
and
just
it does
once
make you
again,
wonder though that if he hadn't gotten shotgunned, what might have happened. I mean, he might have had to go off into the mountains and try to find himself for a while. But then I
Mountain
think, well,
Man
you know what?
Cyril, I would love to see that
But
one.
the Empire was trashing the planet anyway. They were all going to die.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, that poor guy was doomed.
And Mark,
But
it's not too late. You could probably find the costume online.
no,
Just
you
saying.
should ask Kyle for tips. That's what you should do. You should talk to him all about the fashion and see if he has any like advice or like shortcuts or if he's heard anybody who's cosplayed that knows like because they like Hera has the whole like
Mhm.
Hera group and they help each other out. Maybe there's a Cyril Karn group you could connect with and like get insider tips.
I've seen some stuff for sure.
Ah,
I'm
see?
my cosplay for the show is Ezra, obviously because Ezra's my guy. But also
Nice.
Colin from Corellia Cosplay will be there
Hmm.
in a better Ezra. But we plan
Yay.
on meeting Ezra together as meeting Taylor Gray
It's the
together
Ezra
um,
squad.
as an
That
Ezra
sounds
squad
fantastic.
at
You're gonna be
Winter Eve.
twinsies. Yay.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah, we're gonna have a who wore better, and I'm gonna feel humbled real quick.
Oh, please. Not
Well,
even.
it's hard when you're side by side with somebody who's like that devoted to cosplay. It's hard for
I
anybody to
understand.
measure up to that. Yeah.
But I give everybody credit for like even trying because the
Oh,
second you
yeah.
put on a costume and it's like, okay, I've done my best on this,
Hmm.
and there's always room to improve.
Hmm.
Everybody can try something new and take tips and put them to good use. Absolutely. But I just I don't know, I just really want to see Mark to go up to Kyle and wear a Primor outfit. Like I would kill for that photo. It would be so cool.
That would be awesome. Yeah, it'll happen. It'll happen someday. We'll get it done.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yes, it'll be
get
on
bring him to
my
Rhode
bucket list.
Island. We'll make it
Yeah.
happen.
There you go.
All right, we're gonna put it out into the universe. All
Yes.
right. I know we have a lot of slides, so
Hmm.
keep running, ladies.
Okay, keep going.
Oh, there's
Yep,
the live
yep.
action look.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, trench coat. Like probably the first aside from good old Leo Partagaz.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the first trench coats we've seen in Star Wars.
Yeah, they kind of decided that the signature item for Gore was the trench coat. That's what you see people out on the street running around in, and
Yeah,
it's the kind of item where someone would be like, "Oh, is that a Gore trench coat?" Like it's the thing, right? And so
yeah. It's
finally, at
like a
the end,
Burberry. Like everybody knows
exactly,
Burberry or London Fog. Like they're the
exactly,
best.
and so
Best.
that he finally at the end gets his trench coat, and then that's his final battle with Andor in it. I know.
Eh,
Ripser. Oh, and here we have him.
here's my
Luthen.
boy. Fancy Luthen holding his fancy stick in
Mm-hmm.
the shop. So I love the duality of Luthen. I think they had a lot of fun designing this and just kind of playing on it
I
because not
agree.
only is it we have a crazy wig, which by the way I didn't know until I saw behind the scenes stuff that wait a minute, Genevieve O'Reilly is not a redhead. She's
Mm-hmm.
wearing a wig in this show, and I was like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my god, the wigs are amazing. So
They
shout
really
out to
are.
the hair and makeup department because
Absolutely.
you guys had me fooled, especially with Stellan Skarsgård here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, did they
Mm-hmm.
cut his hair? Like in season one, I'm like, did they just film his hair scenes later? Like
Yeah,
kind of
I've
like
seen
in The
some
Matrix?
bad wigs in some TV shows, and this crew was really incredible. And
Expensive.
it makes such a difference with the costuming. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think it just has to make such a huge difference for the actors themselves. If they're not out there constantly having to dye their hair and cut their hair and change their hair for everything they're doing, if they could just have wigs done with this quality and these kind of professionals, it has to just change how you feel. The clothes do it,
Exactly.
but so does it's like putting on prosthetics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I think it's
they
amazing.
had an interview with Stellan about how the difference between Luthen
Hmm.
and Luthen. And he's like all about the hands, the hand placement, the ha ha, the floatiness.
Hmm.
And he looks like a fancy, comfortable old man who just gets his things and welcome to my shop and
You can see the transformation when he puts the
yeah,
wig on.
it's
It's like he just.
completely different. Yeah,
Oh,
right
there.
here.
I was
Hello.
gonna say. I hope we have one of those slides. That's him right there.
I think
I
that's
love
the
that one.
most accurate depiction of it. So we have the gold chain,
I think that's
simply
his wedding outfit,
undefeated.
isn't it? Isn't that what he
Yeah,
wore to the wedding, or was it the
yeah.
Senate? One of the two. I can't quite remember.
That I think is one of his wedding outfits.
Okay.
So we have the jewel tones, the dark
Hmm.
colors, high collar, the wavy wig, the chains. He's
The smile
understated
and the
elegant.
hands. Yeah, yeah. And you know that every one of those fabrics is just ridiculously expensive. And so he's just demonstrating his affluence and his wealth and his success as a businessman with just these, sumptuous fabrics that he always wears no matter what.
For sure. And then we got our girl Lita.
Hmm.
And I say girl because girl, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's
This dress is
beautiful.
stunning. It is a
Absolutely
stunning piece of
beautiful.
artwork. I really don't very much like it though.
I think her mama kind of wore it better.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, for a girl her age and
Yeah.
a bride who's steeped in this tradition, she's there's got to be kind of an understated elegance. This you
Yeah.
go all
If
out.
you're able to zoom in, anybody who wants to go take a stronger look at this, you can really see the detailed levels of the fabric, right? And the layers on top of each other that just add to the overall stunning impression of this dress. Because from a distance, it looks like, oh, it's all one color and it's kind of shiny material. But when you start looking at the layers, it's really stunning. I don't know how the actress moved in it at all.
Yeah,
I don't know how you did that, girl. Well done, you.
and
And him
second,
too. He has like 7 layers on. I was like, whew, I'm glad they didn't have to do like a serious dance for their wedding dance or
it
something.
looks oh my god, really
No wonder
warm,
they moved
really
like this,
sweaty.
because they
And
couldn't
it's
move.
very inspired by samurai
Mhm.
headgear and for the men and
Yeah.
tunics. Again with the long chandril and
The
robe,
ropes,
we
a lot
have
of the ropes, yeah.
intricate uh, cummerbunds,
Hmm.
hair braids mean everything, And
Dedra at home.
hello, first time we're seeing Imperials at home.
Out of uniform. Denise said she was so excited that she got to work multiple
The
looks
first
of
one,
being
yeah.
out of uniform. That's fabulous.
So comfy, and it looks like I'm sorry, do you go home and hang out in silk? Like, I'm in
Mm-mm.
sweatpants and t-shirt.
These day and age, I've got like tank tops and shorts on right now because it's hot and miserable where we're living right
Yeah.
now.
But we have
Yeah.
once again is the look of like the hole up here to kind of have like a brooch.
It's
Um,
funny because she's supposed to be being relaxed, but she still feels so buttoned up. Like
I don't
even
think
her
this woman knows how to relax.
comfy clothes, even when
Turn the
with her
lights off.
hair down, she still looks like she's just all ratcheted up. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's like again with those pants are impeccably tailored. Like look,
hmm
right down to the toes of her shoes. The sleeves are like perfect mid elbow length without cutting off your circulation. Um, just
hmm
everything. The
She's
collar is fine.
always in control, right? Everything meticulous all the way down. Yeah.
Everything. And it's oh my god, queen, bow down.
hmm
And then we have General Draven. Welcome back. We missed you.
Right.
So stark contrast from
hmm
Dedra to General Draven.
Yeah.
So we have like the muddy boots, we have like the utility jacket, we have the loose fitting pants, just kind of
The
like
rank
a
on the jacket. Yep.
exactly man ready to go at a moment's notice to fight for what he needs to. Uh, you might not have laundry service for an extended period of time, so it's got to work.
Got those
And
little villages and stuff. Well, and it was
yeah,
fascinating reading about all the work that they had to do to create the look of the rebellion army leadership, right? Like they had to go back to the original shows and they started it in Rogue One and then they had to expand it here because we spent more time with each of these characters rather than just the quick
yeah,
fleeting moments. And they had to build the whole village on Yavin where you could see people living their normal lives as opposed to being in their rebel leader outfits or whatever.
exactly,
So it was really interesting to learn how they had to find but obviously you don't have like issued uniforms, right? So
yeah.
a lot of it was still kind of patchwork together, but you had to find those unifying pieces so that it was easily recognizable, especially towards the end when those recruits started coming in and they had procedures to follow and you needed to know who was in charge. And how you do that is with uniform styles
A
and
hell of a
ranks.
lot more polished than the last time we were on Yavin with the two rebel
Exactly.
groups.
The ragtag. Yeah.
Oh, so
Maya Peg
terrible.
group. Yep. Oh, yeah. So it was a really interesting contract, like you said, from the beginning to the end of the season, bookended by Yavin. You could really see the evolution.
And this is everybody's
Everybody's favorite.
favorite look. Sunglasses were made by Tom Davies.
Ooh.
So he is known for making eyewear for films. He did The
Mm-hmm.
Matrix. I have Bugs's glasses that I bought directly from his site, and
Do
yes,
you?
they are not cheap. These sunglasses are $530 something, but
Ouch.
they modeled this look around. So Tom started this look because he wanted to go skiing when he wanted
Mm.
fancy looking eyewear. He didn't want to wear sunglasses. He wanted to wear something that would like stay on his face even on the slopes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they really thought this was a cool look and would be super
I have
polished
to agree. It
on
is very cool.
Gorman, and they just built this entire look around that. And you can actually buy those sunglasses on that website. But this took me back so much because we have never seen Cassian. Like
Mm-mm.
again, he's a dirt dog. We see him as a child wearing an adult's clothes kind of tied around his body as he kind of grows into it. We see him, in Ferrick's
Rough and tumble
costume.
pilot,
Yeah, just
yeah.
dirty. We see him wearing a parka when he goes back to Jeddah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we don't see him like this.
We seem very casual, right? Like when they're at the safe
Yeah.
house or when they're going to the market, it's a very casual utilitarian clothes. And it was such a trip to have followed him this whole time when he's
Yeah.
memorizing the names and the information and he's walking and he's traveling and he's just wearing, normal clothes and then all of a sudden he pops out on Gore wearing this and I'm like, "Oh, that's Varian Sky?"
Excuse you, Varian
Hello?
Sky.
And it was the best when he was like, "Oh, he was so very pretty," when he was telling Vix about him, and I'm like,
That was my favorite Rick,
Yeah,
because
he was.
you are saying what we were all thinking,
Mhm,
Diego. I'm just
mhm.
saying, like, guy, girl, I don't care who you are.
Stunning, stunning.
Ooh. And my favorite is the jacket. Like, again, it's the deep jewel tone. It
And
looks
the
expensive.
fur around the collar and the sleeves, is
Yeah.
that fur? Yeah. Oh,
It's something. I don't know. Maybe like
velvet?
velour.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
like some kind of velvet. But like again, how the hell the bellman like noticed him from
Yeah,
when he showed
he's
up like this to when he was the news reporter. Just
mhm.
damn. Even
Yeah.
Diego knew he was hot. Just saying.
Such detail in this outfit. Yeah.
And shout out to Sam Witwer for being the voiceover for the news report. You are very in Sky. Uh, yeah, and this is how we leave Cassian at the end of the
Mhm.
season, end of the series.
Got to reinterpret that outfit, that iconic outfit from Rogue One.
Yeah, and I really, really like this jacket. I like it. It's not as pleated with like the box pleats on the sleeves.
Mhm.
Um, it's leather. It's dark. It kind of like gives him some swagger. We see him
Mhm.
walking through the camp, and he knows he
Mhm.
looks like chef's kiss, and he's
Yeah.
owning it. But he's
Yeah.
got that signature tan shirt, the light
Yeah.
shirt underneath the dark
And I think
clothes.
if you sit down and you break it down and you really zoom in and you look at it, or if you're
Yeah.
someone who is very skilled in these kinds of designs and costuming and sewing, that you would have picked up on it. But the only thing that hit me when I first watched the show was I was like, oh my God, it's the outfit. Like it clicked. It was immediately recognizable. And so, yeah, there's some differences, but I still feel like they hit the mark on
Oh
this
yeah.
100%.
And you can
Yeah.
see this in the photo on Michael's Instagram. You can see all the
Mm-hmm.
little like there's a little bit of ropes, kind of like, a little
Yep.
chandrillin maybe. You have
Mm-hmm.
the grommets there, the communicator pens.
Mm-hmm.
I love the stripes on the sleeve. You can see them perfectly there. A little bit
Yes.
of brown thrown in.
Mm-hmm.
It's like leather and suede, like shiny leather, like patent leather and suede, and the
I
combination
love
is
this jacket. I
beautiful.
really do.
And this is another good one. I don't know if we have a slide for it, but it's the vest. And I really like the look. It's very Star
Yes.
Wars. We see it like the
Mm-hmm.
little
Mm-hmm.
doobly dads and the really cool shirt, like the box pleating on the shirt, but it's like kept on the arm. I
Doodly
do
dads. Is that
the
an
doobly
official
dads.
term?
It is because nobody knows what they're called. They're just making it up, and I guarantee it.
Costume design, vest, fabric, leather, velour, doodly dads. I'm
I
sure it was
definitely
written on
love.
all the sketches.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was.
Rhea did a beautiful job in making the concept art for these things,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see like right in here, she went like above and beyond to kind of map
Wow.
out the shiny fabric where it was due. That
Mm-hmm.
slouch belt is so cool.
Yes.
Love that. And he
Yes.
just looks rough and tumble.
Mm-hmm.
He's ready to rock.
Ready to face his destiny.
And hello, we're gonna go back to Varian real quick. Like,
Mm-hmm.
look at the detail on this vest
Wow.
and this
And the
belt.
collar of the shirt, everything. Like
Yes,
there's not a wasted
just
stitch anywhere.
stunning.
Mm.
Oh, I love it. So beautiful.
Mm.
And that's where he
Oh, Ronnie Googe. Mm-hmm.
Gucci.
I gotta tell you, I really liked this one. I really liked
Yeah,
this one. I don't know if it was because I studied journalism or what, but this one hit for me.
he
Maybe it's because I
looks like
live
a
near
news
DC.
reporter.
I'm like, you know what? This is good. I like this a lot.
It's got the business collar. It kind of reminds me of the old Superman movie, like what they would wear in the newsroom in the Daily Planet.
And
And
again, the trench coat, right?
yeah,
Like I love a trench coat. Mm.
mwah. And when we think Mon Mothma ends up wearing that trench coat to get out of the Senate,
Hmm.
I love that.
Michael
It
said that
looks
that was one of his favorite sequences in season 2.
for
Was them trying
sure.
to escape the Senate together. Yeah.
And here's some pieces from season 1. We have Luthen with his big green, like he looks
Ferrix travel outfit. Hmm.
his secret agent man outfit, and of course the Narkina 5 prisoner suit. As
Disposable suits.
simple as it is, it's still like you see the pleating, you see the different like piping through it. the orange. Everybody looks the same, but it's so identifiable that you just look at it and go, "Oh, you're an Arcana 5 prisoner."
Yeah, and you kind of have to wonder, what do all those little things, have to mean something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, Mon Mothma in her Senate robes,
Yeah.
old school. Honestly, again with the height,
Mhm.
like just
Really very
beautifully
elongated.
tailored. And the difference between Mon Mothma's silhouette and Luthen's silhouette,
Mhm.
like just looking at this here, it's just
Yeah, it's very distinct.
I love it. Oop, and I think
All
that's
right. I
it.
think that's all we got time for. We could talk about this for
Oh
days,
my
right?
god. Yeah,
Mhm.
we had to get to the nitty gritty on this, of course. And again, I looking, and one that we forgot to put in here, which I kind of have to show here. Vel.
Vel's dress.
Vel's
Yes.
gunmetal dress. So we have like a chainmail design, which is kind of funny because she was in Game of Thrones. She was one of the faceless
Mm.
girls.
Mhm.
With Jaqen and Hagar. And she said this dress kept getting things added and taken away, and it was
Mm.
heavy and uncomfortable, but she looked beautiful in it.
Yeah,
And
she
she
really did.
carried
It
it
was stunning.
so well. And then you look at the concept art of it, and it's
Yeah,
like an entirely different thing.
completely different.
It's like an emerald kind of color. It's an
I think
orange.
when they started to go the whole metal way, where you had the white on the wedding dress and the coppery gold on Mon Mothma, I
Right.
think they felt like they had to go and try to do that, cousin of the bride sort of thing. They had to
Yeah.
make it all kind of connect in a way and have a sort of similar theme, if different design and color scheme.
And then you have her. We're
Ooh,
gonna go on a wedding hike and
yes,
climb a mountain with these
yes.
boots.
Look at those.
Ugh.
That's one of my favorites of hers. I really like that one.
So we got Mon and her beautiful. It kind of reminds me of a swan, like a swan's wings,
It
the way
does.
her
Yeah.
kimono is designed. But Vel, obviously, it's very regal. It shows that
Hmm.
she's part of a higher class, but it's not as elegant as
It's
Mon's.
much simpler. Yeah.
Right.
Much more understated. Yeah.
And yeah, that's about that for that one. But I just honestly, you can't go wrong with all these designs. Even Edie's like crazy that 70s sweater is just
She's got a real serious 1960s vibe going on there.
so cool. Like I love this. She is wearing that
Look
shawl.
at
Like this is like actual. This isn't concept art, my friends. This is probably
her
like
pose.
stock photo footage, and I kind of want to draw it now because I love my little queen bean. And also, like, here's the design sketches.
Wow. Look at
I
that.
love this. Like, I love when people post their ideas and the original like concepts, right down to like the mapping and the muslin and
All those cutters did. You got to do each piece together.
and details. Like, look at that.
Yes. Look at those. Wow.
It says Cyril's mother Edie is a masterclass in passive aggression.
Hmm.
Played by the incomparable Catherine Hunter, she gave strong 60s vibe with a retro color palette, all with a Star Wars twist. Always
Hmm.
fully styled and coiffed, though she rarely leaves her apartment. So we have her fancy purple outfit. This was kind of
Ooh.
a little less stated than other things, but you kind of have like, oh, here's a short version and here's the long version of the same
Yeah.
design.
That's so funny. She is one of those people that dresses to the nines to stay in her apartment. That's really funny.
Ugh, I just want to draw them now. It's
Hmm. You
inspiration, you
should.
guys.
You should. Absolutely. You
Yeah,
guys have got a real talent, a real gift for that kind of stuff.
thank you.
Hmm.
Oh, hello. We have spam bots in the chats. Uh,
Fun.
as usual. But
Mm.
yeah, we have so much to go over, and
Hmm.
in the weeks ahead, more costume design from all of your favorite Star Wars shows. We're gonna delve
Hmm.
into that because honestly, costume design is like it's one of the unsung heroes. Like people, you can't just throw
Agree.
clothes on anybody. Clothes
Yeah.
have to tell a story, and they definitely did in Andor. Love it.
Hmm.
Shout out to Michael and his crew. You guys did a phenomenal job.
Really, I hope they get all the accolades for that. All of
Yeah,
them. Yeah, looking
all
forward to
the
diving into some of the other shorter, smaller series. Because that's one of the best parts about live action, right? Is if you're going to bring real people in, they got to have real clothes. So,
exactly.
mhm,
So that will be exciting. But we
absolutely.
have a little more to discuss.
Hmm.
To Eve.
Upcoming events.
August 8th through 10th, 2025, at the Frisco Conference Center in Frisco, Texas. Rebel Scum Con, you guys, get your tickets.
Fantastic opportunity to meet lots of Star Wars talent.
Funny. Oh my God, you guys, this
Look at
is
all these people.
at Punta Eve. Just at Punta Eve. Not even talking about the con.
Not the convention itself. This is our virtual Cantina special edition,
Tickets are
sponsored
still
by
available.
VIP Home Theaters, and tickets are
Woo.
still available. And we have a special event coming up on Saturday as well to talk about the autographs. It's called Return of Celebrating Autographs.
Yeah, make sure you watch that.
This is something that the folks at the Virtual Cantina Network do when we have special events like this. It's a great way to tune in, get information, get all the skinny and people who've been doing it for quite a while. So that will be at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, this coming Saturday, July 12th.
And that'll be with me and Dave O'Neill.
Yes.
There we
So
are.
we'll take you through this whole list right here with all the prices and all that kind of stuff.
Fantastic.
So, and this is all brought to you by VIP Home Theaters. Engage your senses and go to VIPHometheaters.com. They are our premier sponsor for this. You want your house to look like that when you watch TV? I know you do. Check them out.
Don't we all?
I would like a room so I could fit that in, but
Oh.
eventually I'll just have to throw out my couch, but it's okay. But
Right.
yeah, I'm so jealous of everybody who's going to Rebel Scum Con and
It sounds like it's going to be a wonderful event.
I'm going to be living vicariously through all of you.
Well, you're busy working that weekend, right?
Yeah. I'm hoping my car survives, but yeah. Oh, thanks, Carrie. Yeah. She says, those were some pretty amazing costumes. Mon Mothmas were beautiful. Yeah, for sure.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Yeah, those were some of my favorites.
So I'm really excited again for everybody to see. I don't want to say if, but like see when Michael and his team win Emmys for that.
Me too. Me too. I think it's well deserved, and I think it would really help inspire others and move the genre forward if the work that's being done in science fiction can start being recognized on a more official national scale. I think it's high time.
For sure. Coming up this week on the Virtual Cantina Network, we have tomorrow night's Thursday night watch along. I believe I'm trying to see what they're. I think
This is a Big Bang Theory, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Big
Is that
Bang.
what we're doing?
They're
Oh my gosh!
Big Bang Theory Palooza. It's all the Star
Yes.
Wars centric episodes of Big Bang Theory.
Three
That's a lot.
episodes.
And that's just a
episodes of
couple.
Big Bang.
That's just a couple of them. Those are probably the best ones.
Yeah, it's the episodes that feature Mark Hamill, James Earl Jones, Carrie Fisher, Bob Newhart playing Obi-Wan. So it's all those good ones.
Those are some good ones. Yay. Some of my faves.
Those are actually like a good chunk of the episodes of Big Bang Theory that I've seen.
A lot of them.
Like, yeah, not my favorite show. I kind of don't like how they depict women in comic shops. I don't like that vibe, but because I've been one. But yeah, I will gladly watch for Carrie and James and Mark and Bob Newhart.
Well, I'm a huge fan, have been since day one, and I can tell you it grows, evolves, and changes and gets better. I can show you lots of episodes that they do a much better job with women in comics. So
okay,
it gets better, I promise.
Okay, I'll take your word for it then.
Okay.
Let's see, and also as Sarah said, Saturday is the return of Celebrating Autographs with Mark and Dave. They're going to be delving into the autograph list for Rebel Scum Con and Punta Eve Special Edition. And Sunday is is it Jedi Archives this week?
It's Unifying Force.
Unifying Force this week. It was Jedi Archives last week. Ugh, I'm sorry, my brain is done. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, Unifying Force with Dave and Kat and Geo, and they're going to be delving into another amazing topic. I'm not sure what they're going to be going through this week, but
They should be talking about Superman,
ooh,
Oh,
okay.
which
very
I saw
interesting.
yesterday at an early access screening and
Did you
loved
love
it.
it? Please say
I
yes.
loved it. I really loved it. So, yeah,
Good.
I'm
Okay.
ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go all crazy and talk about it because I might go see it again.
Good to hear.
Hell yeah, I'm going
Good to hear.
tomorrow, like immediately after work. Like,
All right.
I don't need anybody to ruin it for me. So I'm just
Spoilers.
yeah.
La, la,
La,
I will.
la.
la, la.
I will give you no spoilers other than I loved it.
Sweet.
That's good.
We'll
What you
take
guys
that.
like? I think the kids will like it too, Sarah. Like, I
Ah,
I realize you have older boys, but like
yeah.
even children and tweens, and I think teens. I think it works across all demos.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah, my friend Jessie is like one of the biggest Superman fans I know, and she
Aw.
cannot wait to see it again.
Oh,
Like
good.
she
Good.
is. James Gunn brought out, according to her, James Gunn brought out everything that Superman is over the past 85 years, and it just it brings it back to the pureness and the
I'm glad they were
color
able to
and
do
the
that.
light. So A
That's what they
plus.
did in My Adventures with Superman. That was definitely my favorite interpretation so far. So I'm really glad to
Oh,
hear that they were able to
yay.
do that with the movie.
Yeah,
So,
I think my uncle would love it if he were still here.
yeah.
He watched the serials, like even listened to them on had them on tape that he ordered from like old timey radio
No
catalogs.
way.
Like old cartoons, old TV shows with Reeves, Christopher Reeve, like animated, the Snyder cut of all things. He watched that like 4 times. So I really think he would have loved it, and
I
I'm
bet.
really excited to watch it for him. So,
Good.
yeah,
In his memory. Love that.
yeah. So yeah, that's it for us this
I think
week.
that's everything.
Anything
Thanks
else you
for.
can think of, Mark?
No, I think we're good. Thank you guys. This was
Okay.
a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
All right. This was great. Tune in next time when we cover all the other costumes. We'll keep
we'll
the craziness
we'll delve
going.
into Obi-Wan next week because
Mm-hmm.
again, we touched a little bit on the Alderaan costumes, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
this time we get to have a little more fun with it. So
Maybe some Acolyte, little High Republic action going in there too.
throw that
Oh,
in
those are
there.
beautiful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right.
can't wait for that.
Thank you all for joining us.
For Light in Life,
Mm-hmm.
and
May
may
the
the force
force
be
be
with you.
with you.